At first, the police found it difficult to nail a suspect in Lil Jeff's murder. He had so many ops, but who would boldly gun him down in broad daylight? It was not until 4 months later that his killer was arrested, Trap City Rob, who revealed very shocking details right after the murder, even before facing the court. The first shocking moment would be when Trap City Rob claimed self-defense in Lil Jeff murder. Over the past few years, the Chicago drill rap scene has played host to one of the most heated street gang wars in recent history. The feud has involved rival Chicago gangs, Trap City and Drill City, Bloodhounds, and it has claimed several lives on both sides. On June 8, 2024, the feud reached its peak when rapper Lil Jeff, one of the leading figures in the Bloodhounds, was fatally shot. Few days after the shooting, the internet went wild with reports that Lil Jeff was killed by a Trap City gang member named Robert Coleman, aka Trap City Rob. After months of speculation in the local media and on social media platforms, the Chicago Police Department eventually arrested Trap City Rob in connection with Lil Jeff's murder. However, after posturing as the killer for several months, Trap City Rob, also known as I Trap Rob, made a dramatic U-turn and pleaded not guilty when he first appeared in court. According to a law enforcement source, Trap City Rob went on to make some shocking revelations, telling the court how he had acted in self-defense after Lil Jeff tried to take out one of his homies right in front of his porch. Rob's account was corroborated by surveillance footage from a street camera that captured the moment Lil Jeff was killed. In the video, Lil Jeff can be seen chasing after an unidentified man and firing multiple shots at him. It isn't clear how many times the man was hit, but he manages to scamper into a building with Lil Jeff hot on his heels. Just as Lil Jeff tries to enter the building through the front door, multiple gunshots send him crashing down on the steps. In another clip from that incident, some of Lil Jeff's homies can be seen firing multiple shots at bystanders in a vehicle that's passing through the road at that moment. One particular shooter wearing a red hoodie and is later identified as Lil Jeff's cousin, Q50, can be seen firing multiple rounds before retreating into a vehicle to flee the scene. The brazenness of the attack left the community in shock, with most fans decrying the glorification of gang violence amongst the young rappers in the city. However, Rob maintained during his court appearance that he wasn't looking to harm anyone, but was forced to defend himself when Lil Jeff and his Bloodhound crew stormed an area of the city that is known to be Trap City territory. More importantly, Rob revealed that the house where the shooting occurred was owned by his grandmother, and so he wasn't only protecting his homie, but also looking out for his family. As seen in the video, Lil Jeff and his crew were firing recklessly and didn't care if innocent people got caught in the crossfire. They also initiated the attack by crossing over enemy lines to launch an attack on one of their ops. During a July 2024 interview, Rob cleared every doubt about whether he was actually at the scene when Lil Jeff was killed by revealing that they were ambushed by 6 Bloodhound members, including Lil Jeff, on that fateful day. When asked if there was anything about the case and the ensuing social media controversy surrounding the whole situation that he would like to clear up, Rob responded saying,
I see the videos, I see that shit. I was like, damn, there's 6 niggas out there, you know? They was crazy, bro.
Rob was referring to the social media frenzy that surrounded the clip showing Lil Jeff getting shot and how fans quickly turned him into a cult hero, dubbing him the Defensive Player of the Year. This was in recognition of him stepping up at the right moment to save his homie who was just on the verge of losing his life. Interestingly, when Rob was first mentioned as Lil Jeff's killer, some Trap City loyalists argued that he was not at the scene when it all went down in a desperate attempt to save Rob from getting prosecuted for the murder. However, those arguments first proved to be faulty when it emerged that Rob was living in the house where Lil Jeff was killed. Furthermore, court documents showed that an eyewitness identified Rob to be present during the shooting death of Lil Jeff. The documents also showed that Trap City Rob was charged with first-degree murder. However, the murder charge was later dropped and he was charged with unlawful possession of a handgun. Although the police investigations identified that Rob participated in the shooting of Lil Jeff, they weren't able to provide sufficient evidence to prove that he was actually the shooter. The news of Rob's murder charges being dropped was received with excitement by fans who were commenting on a Reddit thread, but some of them still took out time to criticize the decision to still bring up 1 count of armed habitual criminal charges against him. One of the Reddit users responded to the thread saying, "El Mao, so the Jeff situation is actual proof that having a gun around was necessary for your life to be safe, but it doesn't matter. The options are die or save yourself and sit in prison for significant years. WTF." Another person wrote, "Same here, and I don't think dude should get charged anyway. He defended himself and that's all that matters. He literally wasn't hurting nobody. That DA is just a power-hungry dick." A third person chose to point out the importance of having a licensed gun. They wrote, "This is why you're supposed to own a gun, legally. Like go buy it from a gun store, but get your gun license first. Then you won't have to worry about any jail time." There's no doubt that if fans could have their way, Rob would probably be a free man with a medal on his neck. But that's not how things work, and having earned a reputation as a habitual offender, he may now be looking at an extended time behind bars. As of November 2024, Trap City Rob was transferred to the Cook County Jail, where he continues to wait for the commencement of his trial. But while he sits in jail, his public profile continues to soar, with more fans getting drawn to his story, and this has inadvertently had a positive effect on his music career. Trap City Rob is actually a rapper himself, and after he was identified as a possible shooter in Lil Jeff's case, a 4-year-old song of his began to go viral on Reddit. The song, which is titled What a Feeling, was released in July 2020, but didn't really get much traction at the time. But once people got the feeling he was the killer of the notoriously dangerous rapper Lil Jeff, suddenly there was a spike of interest in Rob's old song. Less than a week after Rob was named as a potential shooter in the case, the views of the song jumped up by over 10,000, and the YouTube upload of his song was flooded with comments that referenced the Lil Jeff situation. As time progressed, the admiration for Rob amongst fans grew, and some of them on Reddit even created a new Reddit community was created on June 28, 2024, to rival another Reddit community that was dedicated to posting everything about Lil Jeff and also pay tribute to Rob. Over the past few months, the Reddit community known as the RR Trap City Yunk Gang has grown in numbers, and they have made sure that Trap City Rob has become a very popular figure in the Chicago drill scene. But unlike most other drill rappers, Rob is not all about that gangster life, and he is all about peace, especially within black communities. Before the incident that led to Lil Jeff's death, Trap City Rob was known to have friends in the Bloodhound Gang. In the wake of his newly found fame, a picture showing Trap City Rob posing with Bloodhound Vert and another man surfaced online, and it had fans wondering what could have happened that turned friends into enemies. So what really happened between Trap City and Bloodhounds that sent both gangs on a warring path and thirsting for blood? The feud that led to Lil Jeff's death. The news of Lil Jeff's death may have sent social media into a meltdown, but in truth, he was just another victim of a cycle of senseless violence that has been happening in the gang capital of the US, Chicago. If you know anything about the street gang culture in Chicago, then you probably know that the last couple of years have been characterized by young drill rappers losing their lives over meaningless feuds and disagreements. In the last few years, some of the most viral gang violence incidents can be attributed to two rival Chicago gangs, Trap City and Drill City. Drill City is a hybrid gang based in the east side from 79th Street to Maryland Avenue. The gang has beef with a large number of gangs throughout the area and throughout the city, and even extending to the south side. However, over the years, the most personal of these beefs is with Trap City from the south and another gang called BKN from the west side. For this video, we will focus on their beef with Trap City, an infamous set of mainly gangster disciples based out of the Woodlawn neighborhood. Interestingly, things didn't start out on a sour note between these two factions. In fact, the gangs were once allied and their members openly fraternized with each other. Back in September 2024, an old picture was shared on Reddit showing Trap City Tero and Bloodhound Lil Jeff and Q50 before the beef. It's not certain when the picture was taken, but the group seemed to be having a chilled moment and everything looks relaxed. This was also the case when Trap City Rob was photographed with Bloodhound Vert. However, things took a dramatic turn one afternoon on March 16th, 2023, when 22-year-old Zaire Nelson aka Z-Money was gunned down. Nelson was a close friend of Lil Jeff and members of his crew. The two were so close that both Lil Jeff and Q50 are said to have reportedly tatted their faces with Nelson's name. According to reports, Nelson was shot so many times that the doctors reportedly had to tell his family they stopped the count at 29. Understandably, the brutal killing of his friend caused Lil Jeff much grief, but no one anticipated that it would send him on a mad thirst for revenge that could only be quenched by the blood of his ops. While the killers that were responsible for the murder were never found, the word on the street was that Nelson's death was orchestrated by Trap City. This was apparently in retaliation for Lil Jeff stealing a chain that belonged to a Trap City member earlier that year. It may be hard to believe that a deadly feud can materialize from something so trivial, but Trap City Rob confirms this during a July 2024 interview. In the interview, Rob and Trap City Tero explained that they used to be cool with the Bloodhounds until Lil Jeff ran off with the chain of one of their homies. Rob said,
"He stole the chain, bro. We tried like he took it. He stole my own chain."
The chain must have been really worth a lot to get Trap City so pissed off that they cut their alliance with the Bloodhounds and allegedly took out a hit on Lil Jeff's close friend Z-Money. As if that wasn't enough, Lil Jeff's cousin Q50 was allegedly shot by Trap City, but as we know, he managed to survive that attack. Well, with Lil Jeff fully motivated to seek revenge, the senseless violence only went downhill from this point, starting with an infamous Uber shooting. The incident involved the fatal shooting of 19-year-old rideshare passenger Jaleel Goins. Goins, who was also known as Leal within the Trap City fold, was brutally shot while sitting in a rideshare. The driver then drove Goins to Rush University Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. While law enforcement authorities in Chicago chucked this, or as another unsolved murder, the streets knew where the attacks had come, and plans were already in motion on retaliatory attacks. Following the shooting, Lil Jeff and Q50 began taunting their ops and seemingly taking responsibility for the hit on Leal in the songs and Instagram live videos. The duo took self-snitching to another level with their antics and even taunted their ops that there was still more to come. Towards the end of 2023, Lil Jeff and Q50 allegedly launched another attack on Trap City, and this time their victim was a man simply known as Glenn. He suffered 15 bullet wounds and never stood a chance. Not satisfied with having just one enemy, Lil Jeff launched another full-on war with rival gang BKN when he orchestrated the murder of two teenagers, Lil Rob and Monty, just as the duo were leaving their high school for a lunch break. The murder made nationwide news, and while the families of the victims were still mourning, Lil Jeff and Q50 again took to trolling the victims and suggesting that they were the ones behind the hit. It was later revealed Lil Rob and Monty allegedly stole 2 wristwatches from Lil Jeff, and that is what triggered the late rapper to come after them. This was another time when a jewelry item would lead to the loss of lives, and on both occasions Lil Jeff was a major player. Karma would eventually catch up with Lil Jeff when he tried to kill another Trap City member in June 2024. The man was able to escape the first round of bullets fired at him by Lil Jeff, and he ran for safety into a building that was owned by a fellow Trap City member, Rob. Unfortunately for Lil Jeff, his thirst for blood pushed him to pursue the man into the building, where he ultimately met a fate similar to that of his victims. The late rapper was shot 19 times and was reportedly taken to the hospital by 2 of his friends. Once his death was confirmed, Trap City members, including his alleged killer, could be seen in a viral video taking to the streets to celebrate Lil Jeff's death. After walking a short distance, the group arrived at the front porch of the house where Lil Jeff was actually murdered, and Trap City goes ahead to recreate how the rapper was killed, much to the amusement of the other gang members. But while everyone could be seen in the video laughing and having a good time, Trap City Rob seemed more composed and didn't join in the trolling. While most Trap City members are always quick to mock Lil Jeff whenever they are presented with a mic, Rob has always chosen the higher ground and instead tries to distance himself from the entire situation. During an interview on DJU-TV in late 2024, Rob was asked about all the attention he had been getting from fans after some fans began spreading rumors that he was Lil Jeff's killer, and he answered saying,
I just feel like they bogus, man. Whoever started that, man, please stop doing stuff like that. Like, for real, this is like real life, though, you know? So it's not no video game. It's not no movie. You know what I'm saying? It's reality, so.
Yeah.
Rob went on to mention that he gets a lot of people whenever he's walking on the streets, but he's not really down for all that and would rather just have things get back to normal. While it is understandable why Rob may be outrightly denying his involvement in Lil Jeff's murder from a legal standpoint, it also makes a lot of sense when you take into consideration that Rob may be trying to defuse the situation to prevent more casualties. This even becomes more important when you also consider the fact that he didn't go looking for trouble and only acted in self-defense, which Lil Jeff himself emphasized in an old interview that it isn't the same as murder. During the interview, the rapper was asked if a person could be considered a killer if he caught a body in self-defense. Lil Jeff responded, "Hell no, you had to protect yourself. You were scared for your life. So if you didn't shoot that gun, your ass is gonna die." Lil Jeff appeared in the interview in company of Q50 and another friend, and they both agreed to what the late rapper was saying. Unsurprisingly, they didn't feel the same way when Lil Jeff got killed while trying to kill an op. Rather than stick to their original perspective, they've been calling for the heads of their ops and pushing for the violence to continue. Where are they now? As we all know, sadly, Lil Jeff is 6 feet below the ground. However, following the untimely ending of the budding Chicago rapper, details about how his family have been holding on has been making the rounds. Unlike the traditional staying out of the spotlight that most family members adhere to following a tragedy, Lil Jeff's family is proving that they are all for blood. A few months after his death, his dad, Jeffrey Harris, made a bold statement via social media. He wrote, "And let it be known, y'all didn't get him. He came trying to get y'all, and what happened happened, but the saga continues. Clear the streets." streets. Following this declaration, a few of Harris's followers landed their voices to the supposed retaliation call. One person wrote, "Got hit on a hit," another quipped, "In Jeff, we trust." Expectedly, the post garnered reactions from fans who began pointing accusing fingers at Lil Jeff's upbringing. They faulted his father's claims, maintaining that if he could write such, then he had set a bad example for his son to follow the streets, which inadvertently led to his death. But how so? Let's get a quick round down through his years and his parents' influence. Well, Bloodhound Lil Jeff, as he was often called, was born and raised in Los Angeles, California, in a city famous for its entertainment industry. He became famous in high school for his passion for humor and storytelling. As he grew older, he became more inquisitive and soon began to rack up fame as a content creator on streaming platforms like YouTube and TikTok. Undoubtedly, Bloodhound Lil Jeff made a name for himself by selling his talent, and he was duly recognized. In 2022, the content creator turned rapper was named among the top 10 emerging creators, with a viewership of over 1 billion on various platforms. But for him, it all appeared that being famous wasn't enough. He needed to be controversial. Following his involvement with Q50 and his disagreements with the Jungle Hood and BKN, Bloodhound Lil Jeff became notorious on the streets of Chicago. To make matters worse, he had the support of his parents. As shown earlier, Lil Jeff's dad maintained that the drama wasn't over even with his son's death. Now, he wasn't the only family member who made a statement. Not long after Lil Jeff's death, DMs of both son and mother found its way online, and the content was quite eye-catching. In Ehe post shared by my Mixtapez, a rather excited Lil Jeff watermarked the post with the words, "All I gotta say is she watched me work that 6'2". In the exchange, Lil Jeff's mom was congratulating him while establishing that she was proud of his feats. Shockingly, she also referred to him sliding on his ops. She wrote, "Go ahead, son. Your name ringing bells in day streets. I said, is that my boy?" Then Lil Jeff replied, "It definitely is, sis." Next, she added, "I love it. Sliding on them niggas who slept in them bed with you." As for how fans reacted following the realization that Lil Jeff had the support of his mother to slide on guys from his hood, let's just say nobody expected that. A handful of the commenters were surprised to see that any mother would boast of her young son's atrocities. Some maintained that she was solely responsible for the way he turned out. One Twitter user wrote, "She was so happy to have an attack dog that she birthed and can manipulate at will, lol." Another added, "Almost every single time a problematic parent is revealed, she's the reason he's dead. She encouraged that behavior, as we all can see through that one screenshot. So sad." A third fan quipped, "Nah, the father is responsible too. Look at his pop's reaction to the killing. Both parents are." But as these debates are yet to rest, neither are the members of the Bloodhound. Just a few days ago, T-Slick from Lil Jeff's camp goes ahead to spin Trap City in an Instagram live video. T-Slick was in the car jamming to a low tune rap while driving through the city, showing Trap City that he was nearby.
I'm jackballing this bitch through somebody's hood on my cousin grave. He jackballing through somebody's hood.
Not long before T-Slick goes on a tour in Trap City's hood, Trap City Tero dropped a diss track referring to a handful of the Bloodhound members. In his song No Dissing, he raps, "I ain't dissing next, but if I diss, it's to his Jeffy man. Take the Q50 off Infinity, his ass can't even spin." See, money was the first, but like a curse they did them bogus, and he tell his mama they pushed him out the van. Fans would recall that Trap City Tero has always seemed to have an eye on the Bloodhounds. Back in 2023, he referenced a 2020 image of himself and his brother Leal. The rapper then captioned it, "Watch how we go up next year, kid going extinct." Such talk of getting people to go extinct from the Bloodhound ops came as a surprise to fans after they noticed Trap City Rob's stance on fighting his fellow black man. Note that Trap City Rob and Trap City Tero are two different individuals, however. They share the same hate for Lil Jeff and are both categorized in the Trap City group. Back in 2022, Trap City Rob, the man arrested for Lil Jeff's murder, made a post of supporting the black culture while disassociating from hood chaos after condemning what many now see as the norm. In his post, he wrote, "As a whole, black male conflict resolution skills are drastically underdeveloped. This is for the hoodlums and the thugs. Any disagreement, it's a fight or a shootout, no ability to talk and or articulate thoughts and feelings. Black culture." A few commenters cheered Trap City Rob's point of view, while others could not help but point out the irony of the whole situation, explaining that he wasn't different from what he condemned. Another round of debate about the Bloodhounds and their ops ensued after Trap City Rob was arrested on October 31st, 2024, about 5 months after Lil Jeff's murder. However, he was released due to lack of evidence and checked into the county jail. Interestingly, Q50, Lil Jeff's cousin, is also serving a 1-year sentence in jail. Q50's sentence is not over a murder case, but over possession of a semi-automatic firearm. With him in jail, fans have since predicted that a fierce fight will happen between the pair, with Q50 emerging victorious. However, some critics mentioned that Trap City Rob's advantage over his ops might just be his size. But following the heated debate on who will win a possible wrestle match, one fan from Reddit, where the talk about a fight all started, clarified that the men are not in the same jail. At Meckett's, Q50 in prison already, Trap City Rob in the county, they not bumping into each other. While these men may never come face to face against each other while behind bars, the beef between the Bloodhounds and Trap City has continued to intensify on the outside. Only time will tell just how much chaos will erupt between these two groups, especially with the teasing and threats of a never-ending saga. If you like this clip and would want to stay connected for first-hand info on what's trending, please click on the card showing on the screen.